Basically, this one was a real easy one to whittle down because it was Killer Dolls.
Yeah.
That's where I went. Like, it was just like
For
straight up
sure,
Killer Dolls. And we've already mentioned the one that I think that you should check out if you want a replacement of Killer Dolls, and it's Willy's Wonderland.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and it's like, if there's any opportunity for me to mention a Nick
Mhm.
Cage film, this is it. It's actually heavily inspired by the Five Nights at Freddy's idea.
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's a haunted Chuck E. Cheese creepy deal where all the dolls come after Nick Cage, but it's a Nick Cage movie, so Nick Cage slaughters all these dolls.
Mm-hmm.
They're not dolls, really, robots. They're essentially evil robots.
Animatronic puppets, kind of like you would see in Chuck E. Cheese and like the characters from Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, these big, like, oversized, like that.
Except for Five Nights at Freddy's, they're actually like they're characters. I don't think they really establish in Willy's Wonderlands. They're just fucked up robots.
They're like, well, in Willy's Wonderland, they established that they're like, they do a very similar thing to Chucky, where they kind of do like a ritual, and then like there's all these killers that get their bodies like into these spirits of these dolls, or their spirits go into these dolls. So they're basically like possessed dolls.
That's in Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah,
that's
Willy's
Wonderland. Possessed dolls. I missed that. I was just too busy watching Nick Cage kick puppet ass. But but so yours, I missed that. So they do actually have a Chucky theme. Where like souls get thrown into
it was a bunch of like really disturbing people that used to work at the place, and they did this ritual, and they got themselves into the dolls, and so they all like live there like eternally until of course they met their match, which is Nick Cage.
Nick Cage was it's just Nick Cage, man. Well, that's I clearly I missed that whole concept because it probably came out at the end when he was in that main battle scene at the end where he was kicking some, like, I love the fact that actually, like, I remember, like, I like wild Nick Cage when he's just like the bees or Face Off, where he gets to say stupid shit, and of course he says next to nothing. He's like the Pale Rider in Willy's Wonderland. But in hindsight, having watched it, I thought it was pretty cool. Like he's basically playing a Western cowboy guy who goes in and just slaughters demonic puppets. So anyhow, like, honestly, and this whole film came about because Nick Cage found it off the Blacklist. Was it the Blacklist or the one of the? So basically, the screenwriter of this had placed the script on. I don't think it's the Blacklist. It's the horror version of the Blacklist. And where they basically it gets passed around. Nick Cage found it and was basically like, "Yeah, we're doing this." And so as soon as this guy got Nick Cage on, the guy had never made a feature before. And as soon as he got Nick Cage on board, it just steamrolled. Someone's like, well, I'll finance that shit. So this guy basically, by just having this awesome concept, throws it out there. Nick Cage jumps on board. Next thing you know, you have Willy's Wonderland. So it's actually a very cool indie story about how the film got made. And of course, it's Nick Cage kicking robot ass. So it says you got to go see it, and it's available wherever you live. It's on a platform now, so you should be able to see it quite easily. Check out Willy's Wonderland.
I bought it. I've seen it like 4 times already now.
Yeah, so you know what? Yeah, so that's why I missed that they were. I was just too into the puppets, and if you've seen it 4 times now, you would have caught that because I totally missed that.
It was probably just a scene like when you were taking a piss or something like that, because it was about like a 5-minute or under scene where they were doing like the backstory on how like all the dolls got possessed
near the end. Well, it also could have been that I had a bunch of ale and was watching it like at night, and then kind of in and out of consciousness by that point. Just holding on to the scenes of Nick Cage kicking ass. Nick Cage is just enough to keep me awake sometimes. It's the late night movie viewing. So that's totally possible too. So anyhow, that's my take. If you're looking for killer dolls, instead of the killer doll being the anti-hero, why not watch Nick Cage kick evil robot doll ass in Willy's Wonderland?
Yeah, and a bookend to this, the first time I saw it, I was a little upset that Nick Cage didn't talk, because I wanted to see him scream at people like he always does and go crazy in the cage rage. He does go in the cage rage, but it's a silent cage rage. But once I understood that it was a throwback to Western movies, and it was like their version of The Man with No Name, and then they do all these nods to it, like the thing sort of like has a Western kind of feel to it. Where he's like the stranger in the town and he doesn't talk. And then even like these energy drinks that he drinks are called like a fistful of punch. Sort of like, a reference to like a fistful of dollars in the Man with No Name trilogy, the Sergio Leone trilogy. So once I understood like what they were doing with it, then it really kind of grew on me. But no, it's definitely a really cool movie.